your mercy and your guidance. And so we ask that you bless our lives to the service of our community, the service of you, and the service of our fellow man. And thanks so much for the wonderful food that we're blessed with each week. Nourish our bodies with it so that we can serve better. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't be seated because Patty Beth is in the house. Happy New Year. She's going to get this going.
I know, I'm excited. And I was so ready to sing the Weather Girls, It's Raining Men. Well, my husband talked me out of it. So we're going to do an old one. Come on, we have to show these young ones how to do this. Singing in the rain. Are we ready? We're going to sing it fast. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at the clouds, so dark up above. The sun's in my heart, and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with your rain, I've got a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the rain.
We didn't know we had such a choir bunch here, musically inclined.
I am moved.
Let's not stop the applause now. Our Sergeant of Arms today is Jill McAbee. Jill, I'm sorry, dude. I tried. I tried to give it a rousing, you know. Come on.
Hello, I'm your Sergeant at Arms today. And so if you're new or if you're a visitor here today, the Sergeant at Arms finds some or all members of the club, and those dollars go to scholarships. So in preparation for today, there are people that I would normally make sure they got a higher fine, and I need you guys to know that I 100% forgot that I was the Sergeant at Arms. I have nothing planned. So everybody just get out $1 and put it in the bucket.
And if the students of the month will please pick those buckets up. Thank you so much. Our caterer today is Timbered In. Thank you so much, Kim and Shane, and your wonderful team with that great lunch, as always. Our guest today with Sandy Love is Tina. And Tina, how do you pronounce your last name? Cromines. Very, very good to have you here with us. Our Cal Week students with Addie Fusier, her mom, Brooke Fusier. Brooke, it's great to have you here with us today. With Karen Walters is Linda Rigsby. Dave Claggett, you should not be a guest on here, sir, but Dave Claggett is joining with us today. And with Mark Morris, Jerry Bohannon. Hi, Jerry. Great to have you with us. And then our very own Rotary Assistant Governor is Michael Atkinson. Michael, it's great to have you here with us today. And RILA students, do you recognize Michael Atkinson? If you will come forward with your Rotarian announcement, that's this time, please.
Dolly Day, Dolly Day, Dolly Day. We're going to be celebrating Friday with the businesses and organizations in town. And thank you to the Chamber. They're going to have refreshments from 10 to 2. And some of the banks might be participating. And I'm told that the library is participating. So pop in there if you get a chance, if you're out and about, because that will be fun to support them.
And then on Monday, the schools are participating. ECC, lower and upper, have lots of fun things planned. So please stop in there if you're so inclined and see what they're doing. And go around town and enjoy and have fun for Dolly's birthday. Thank you.
So good to be here today. We want to promote a Miami Rotary event. It's called the Shamrock Bash. It's on March the 12th. If you want to see me riding on a leprechaun shoulders, please come. Dress in your dream. There will be a fun 15-item scavenger hunt in the middle of it that you'll have on yourself. It is a live and silent auction and a dinner, so I'd love for anybody to come that's willing to come.
Let's support our fellow Rotarians in Miami.
Okay, so I'm going to read a letter from one of our scholarship winners from last year, who was unable to be with us last week. Joseph Wong, if you will recall, Joseph, also one of our outstanding scholarship winners, is a refugee from China. And he is at TU, and doing very well. But he sent a letter for me to read to you. It's brief, but I do want to read all of it to you. Dear Rotary and Scholarship Committee members, I hope 2026 has been off to a great start for you all. I'm excited to share my latest academic updates and reflect on my growth and opportunities I've come across over my first semester at TU. First off, there have been some major changes, pun intended, to my major. I love that. They nearly always do it. I decided to change my major from applied math and electrical engineering to electrical and computer engineering. Conversations with TU math and engineering faculty about career options made me realize that ECE matches my future aspirations and goals more closely. Thankfully, this change was early enough as to not interfere with my current coursework or delay my graduation. As for my classes this past semester, and by the way, he did send his transcript, which I'm not sharing. As for my classes this past semester, I am happy to report that I was able to skip most first-year general education courses through credits earned from my AP test scores, 30 credit hours in total. Wow. Yeah. Taking a dual major course load of mostly second-year courses showed me much room for improvement. My study habits, time management, and asking for help when I'm stuck. My biggest wake-up call was failing a unit exam for my multivariable calculus class, causing my final grade to be a B. After reflecting on what I could have done better, I think that in the future I should set apart a fixed time every day to study regardless of homework in order to better refresh and retain information. Regarding my other campus activities, I'm participating in the Baptist Collegiate Ministry, several intramural sports, academic team, and also dabble in many other clubs. The best thing that happened to me was making several high-quality Christian friends, and we have already shared so many joyful and memorable moments together. There is still so much more to elaborate on, and you are welcome to contact me anytime. Until then, I thank you all for your continual support of my studies and look forward to my next update. Yours gratefully, Joseph Wong. And as a side note, you remember last week we had Reagan Roberts here, and she's a sophomore at OSU. My daughter, Stacy, teaches physiology lab, and this is totally random. Reagan texted me this morning, she said, I'm in your daughter's physiology lab. Yay!
We can keep track of her both there and here, so that's awesome. Get updates on her.
You guys are the luckiest 100 people in America. You should go buy a lottery ticket today. The reason is that from time to time, Serena asked me to be Sergeant at Arms. So many times do they kind of ask me at the last minute that I usually prepare something. So Jill didn't have anything prepared, but she asked me to pray today instead. So the reason you're lucky is that for Sergeant at Arms, what I was going to do is I went to the Drift last night and spent about $125. And no, not half of it. Not that, no. The whiskey was not that much. But anyway, the point is that I took roll. I took attendance. None of you were there, and so you are all going to get an extra $5 fine for not going to the drift and eating on Tuesdays, so they would give 10% of that to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So, you never know. Next Tuesday there might be a Sergeant at Arms there as well, taking attendance. So, I'd like to see you guys do that so we can raise some more money for Dolly.
So I will be putting 20 in for double booking the Sergeant of Arms. All right, that's fair. I'll take that. Well, on the special announcements portion, we also have the Cow Week team. Avery Nichols and her group are here today to present to you. So if you will, we'll bring them up on stage and let you know what's going on with our Cow Week.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? Good, because I'm doing good. Anyways, so my name is Jacob Reed. For those of you that don't know me, I am this year's Cow Week president, and I'm here with...
I'm Lexi Stephen. I'm the student council president this year.
I'm Abigail Byers. I'm the Stuco vice president.
I'm Arian Smith. I'm the student council secretary.
I'm Avery Nichols. I'm the senior representative.
I'm Addison Fuser. I'm the treasurer. And I'm Maddie Montgomery, and I'm the Cow Week vice president.
Welcome. Okay. Woo! Most of you guys are probably familiar with Cow Week. You probably have seen us out in the public, out in the community, doing fundraisers, or you might have met with us in a business meeting. Well, this is actually our 10th year anniversary.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not working.
Technical difficulties.
Wait, I think fair enough.
Yay! Happy birthday, Cow Week! Anyways, that being said, we wanted to make this year special since it is our 10th year anniversary. Now, we still went through our application process and still went through and selected everything, and we had one that just absolutely fit the bill this year. And that is an athletic complex at our Grove High School. Now, let me go into this a little bit. This is off of Google Maps. There's our high school, there's our Performing Arts Center, our parking lot, and in that yellow boundary is roughly 2 acres of land that we have to build this thing on. Now, as much money as we can raise and as big as we can dream is what we can do, okay? There's a lot of space to work with, and I mean, we're gonna go big or go home this year, and I have very high hopes for this and what this is gonna turn into.
Yeah, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is our vision for this year, but this is mostly kind of what the school kind of wanted to see. So we surveyed our entire school and faculty, and this is what they kind of wanted to see with that. But what you don't see is our vision as a class behind that. And to keep it very short, because we're all super excited to be here and I don't want to cut off any of their slides, every single student in our school has a place in this complex. It doesn't matter the mental health illness that you have, disability, doesn't matter, you have a place in this complex, and that's amazing. I know all of us standing up here are super excited for that. But I love that even the special needs can have a place in here because it'll make it the new norm to be playing pickleball with a person in a wheelchair, and I love the idea of that. A lot of people have been saying, oh, like you're shooting for the stars, but people have landed on the moon before. So I think that we are really capable of doing this, and if any group is going to do it, I have full confidence in our Grove Student Council.
So with that being said, when designing this complex, there were a couple specific needs that we saw within our special education students. So where they're at right now, the physical education portion of their class, they tend to get moved around a lot, and that's usually because of scheduling conflicts or inadequate facilities for what they need specifically for their needs. And also another problem that we saw was that these kids, they don't have the adequate materials to play the games that they would want to play. So for an example, instead of playing normal basketball with, a goal or hoop, whatever, they had to use trash cans to shoot the ball into because they just didn't have a hoop that was specified to their needs. So with this, our solution is that we want to create this all-inclusive learning and activity center so that they can have their time for physical education while practicing that alongside us. And one specific area requested specifically by our special education teacher was an outdoor workout facility. So those pictures you can see on the screen is outdoor fitness equipment. So it's like basically like lifting weights outside, but they would stay there permanently and they can fit the needs of even students in wheelchairs. Another area that we are super excited about is our outdoor classroom and reading garden. And I am super excited for this area because I'm not a big sports girl, and so, you know, you could find me out here with a book or studying or reading. And another positive to that is that our classes will actually get to go outside with their teachers to have an alternate place to learn.
I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the mental health effects of being outside, because this is what I'm really excited for, because we've seen a big shift. So since COVID, mental health has gone down 40% in teens, and I'm pretty sure we've all seen the shift in that, and we're really trying to help with that. And just being outside 20 minutes a day can really help with all the things. Listen up here, boost engagement, hands-on learning. It helps get us off our screens, because I feel like for me, when I'm inside in a class, every single class I'm on a screen. I'm on a screen for this, that, I'm doing everything on screens. And it just helps us separate ourselves from having to be in the school, especially if you are a freshman in our school right now, because sophomores and above get to be able to leave for lunch, so we kind of get a break and get to go outside. But if you're a freshman, you're stuck in a building with really bright fluorescent lights and really cold air conditioning for like 8 hours. And it's just kind of draining sometimes. So being able to just go outside, have class outside, sit outside during lunch, and do all these things will really just help them. And it helps improve academics, reduce stress, improve social skills, and it would just really be a really good change for us to have just a change of pace in how we do our daily activities.
Yay.
Okay, now we're really excited about this one because who doesn't love pickleball, right? So just by raise of hands, who all plays pickleball in here? Okay, we have a few, but we'll work on that because, you know, we're going to build this for you and you can come play. But we're really excited for this. It is like a dedicated pickleball court, and so it won't be moved around. There's not like a portable net or anything. This will be permanently just used for pickleball. And even at Grove High School, we have an instructor that can help you with clinics and your technique and skills and practices and things like that. So if you don't know how, you can always come and learn. But yeah, so this will be publicly accessible to everyone of all ages. It's one of the fastest growing sports in America right now, and there's so many high schoolers that love to play pickleball. And like we said, this was surveyed by the schools, and so this was one of the top things they wanted to do outside of school. And so this will be accessible outside of school hours, just for safety concerns and everything. But yeah, we're really excited, and we're really excited to see you guys win or lose later on our courts.
In order to solve the need for equal space, we strive to include students, community members, and members of marginalized groups by constructing an all-accessible, multi-purpose basketball court. This allows students and anyone of any ability to come play basketball, volleyball, futsal, whatever. And I know, as a graduating soccer player, that I will definitely come back in my free time and play some futsal. Not only is this an outlet for togetherness and connectivity, but it also provides a space for events, so it boosts our community morale.
So these are more of the other outdoor equipment that this complex will include. We got all of these ideas because we surveyed our high school, and this is what the high school wanted to see in the complex. We'll have concrete cornhole and concrete chess tables, which we already have 3 funded, thanks to Mr. Kreutz for filling out the Rotary grant. And then we'll also have tables, benches, and swings, which you can get a sponsorship plaque on, which these will be out here for 15 to 20 years, so it's lasting. We can customize the plaque however you guys would like. We can do in memory of, in honor of, class of, you can do your business logo or your family name, it's whatever you guys like. And before I talk about our Cow Week events, can you guys all pull your calendars out to make sure that you'll be there? But so first we have the Daddy-Daughter Dance on February 15th, which if you know any dads with young daughters, I strongly suggest that they come to this. We did it a couple years ago and it was a huge success, so we just wanted to do it again. We have our CrossFit on February 21st at 11 at Wolf Creek CrossFit. If you're active or know anyone that's really active, this is really fun. We have Moving Through Grove, which is an amazing style race. And then, does anyone in here play golf?
Who here is actually good at it?
So we have 2 golf tournaments that you guys can get included for that. The Coves Golf Tournament and the Patricia Island Golf Tournament. And then we have our amazing talent show, which is so much fun to go watch the younger kids in our community show off their talents. And then we have our garage sale, which if you've done any spring cleaning yet or have any old clothing items that you'd like to donate, then we would love to help you sell them.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for just listening to us today. This is a big dream of ours in our school. This has just been a need in our community for a very long time, and we've just kind of overlooked it in a way. And so we decided this year that we were ready to give back to our students in a way that we hadn't before, and just really focus on these little things. And so we're really excited for this year. It's going to be a great one, but it wouldn't be possible without you guys. You guys have supported us for so long in Cal Week and just the high school in general. And so we're hoping to continue that partnership and the supportive system. So just thank you guys so much for even allowing us to come up here today. And do we have any questions?
Just a minute, Don.
Spring Mark. The blue bucket. Oh, they said it's
They took them up.
Well, usually there's a blue bucket going around when you guys come. Where is it?
Well, and
well,
also,
let's get the buckets up, guys.
And then, of course, after this, you guys are welcome to come to any of us if you want to talk about specifics on how to donate, if you want, a certain thing to be donated or to, where your money is going and things. And also, if you want to set up a business meeting with your business and talk to, your other coworkers and everything before that, we would love to, help you in any way so you can help us. So just let us know what we can do.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. 2 more.
What is your budget proposal?
Depending on this will almost work in phases, so it's however much we raise. So if we get enough for 4 pickleball courts, we'll build that. We'd love to have as many as 8. And it's like I said earlier, it's however much money we raise is how big we can do. We can branch out to more outdoor equipment, more courts, more basketball courts.
But if you got all the money now, how much would you be spending?
It'd be a good 3.
If we got all the money that we needed for everything there, we had more stuff that's just not listed up here that we had ideas for, that we just we kind of set priority lists of most important was obviously special education, mental health, and then went to pickleball, basketball. So we have other things that just aren't in our top priority that if we got the funding for, they would immediately get put in. I don't really know any examples right now, but if we had the funding for that, we would put those lower priority things that we saw that the students also wanted in.
Well, it'd be nice to know what the total amount would be because people might respond with that amount.
When this came to us, when it was proposed, because all of the nonprofits apply to us, and we meet with them, and we have an interview process. On the application, it was around $100,000 to $300,000, and so that's kind of where we have been the last few years. And so when it was brought to us, they wanted to be starting off kind of where our average is, and then we can shoot higher as it comes. But yeah, that's kind of the range that we're at right now, just trying to be as, hopeful as we can. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Go ahead.
Because I have a lot of valuable, coveted stuff that I'm willing to part with. When is the garage sale and where can we bring you all these great items?
So my sister is actually the one in charge of it. Right now she's shooting for March 28th. We're not exactly for sure on that date yet because she's still working on a location. But that and where to take this stuff will be posted on our Facebook and Instagram. So if you're watching for that, it'll have her contact information and she will get with you to where you can take all of your stuff. or we can also pick it up.
Okay, so are you guys also interested in working with businesses around the area to maybe donate either time and or materials for this build?
No, 100%. Yeah, we would like to, whenever we get this thing rolling, to actually building and reach out to local companies to hopefully sponsor some of the, such concrete construction, that side of things. Sue, does that answer your question?
It's just hard right now to get contractors, because obviously to get contractors you need a budget, so we cannot actually get a contractor to reach out to businesses until we actually get our final number. It's going to be around May, I think, is going to be our reveal, May 1st. And so after that point, we'll kind of start reaching out to businesses and contractors. It's just really hard to get a contractor to be on board if you don't give them an amount of money that you're willing to work with.
So if you have any other questions, you have donations. Their sponsors are Terry Guthridge and Donetta Kerr. Okay? Wonderful. Grove Ridge Runners all the way through and through for any of these students here. So thank you guys for your time, and let's get behind this.
If you guys would like to schedule a business meeting or come meet, or if you guys need any more information or anything, come find one of us whenever we break out of here, and we'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mary Richardson is going to be presenting Ed. And Ed, I do apologize for cutting into your time, but I think it's well worth our cause. So,
one of the benefits of being asked to be on the program committee is you can look for speakers that interest you, and hopefully everybody else too. This is one of my favorite shirts. It says Okie, and it has a severe weather radar on it. And I got it when I moved here, never knowing that we would have already 4 incidents at our home where we've had storm damage. But today I'm so excited to introduce somebody who really interests me, and hopefully you. Ed Palanese is a warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Tulsa. I've asked him to talk about some of the equipment they use, some of the things they do out of Tulsa, and also, side note, they do storm spotter training to the public. So that's really interesting. So please help me welcome Ed.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to be here. I was real happy to receive Mary's invitation to come speak to you. The main thing I was happy about was it was like 8 or 9 months in advance. A lot of times we get an invitation to come speak or attend a meeting or something like that, and it's literally like the next day. So I like 8 or 9 months in advance to kind of prepare and have that on my calendar out there, so I really appreciate that, Mary. So I've been with the Weather Service for about 35 years now. I've been with the Tulsa Weather Service office for 22 now. I moved here from Lubbock, Texas, and before that I worked in the Fort Worth Weather Service office. So all the offices I tend to work with in my career with the Weather Service are severe weather offices. That's my primary interest. That's what brought me to Oklahoma. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about severe weather, but like Mary said, we do conduct spotter training, we do safety training for the public, for other agencies. So we're actually going to start those later this month and go all the way into early April. The calendar for that, different dates, different locations, is on our webpage, which is weather.gov/Tulsa, which is going to be on a lot of these slides coming up. So the mission of the Weather Service is basically to provide forecasts and warnings for the protection of life and property. That's essentially what we're there for, why we're doing what we're doing. There's 122 Weather Service forecast offices across the country, so literally every county in the country is served by one of these forecast offices. Now, there's national centers with the Weather Service that you've all heard about: Storm Prediction Center, National Hurricane Center, maybe the Weather Prediction Center. So there's several national centers, but it's the local field offices that actually provide the warnings for you as citizens. So a close-up look here at the National Weather Service in Tulsa's forecast office area. Basically, we go from the Kansas border all the way down to the Red River, Texas border, as far east as Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and back west, Pawnee, Pawhuska. So that 32-county area is the primary area that we're focused on, if you will. So we provide routine forecasts for that area. and any of the event-driven watches, warnings, or advisories are issued by our office for that entire area. See, Delaware County, kind of off to our northeast part of our CWA or county warning area. The counties in Missouri, just to your east, are served by the Springfield office. So when we have storms moving out of our area into Springfield's area, there's a lot of coordination going on. What we've received reports about, just to make sure they're aware of what's heading their direction so they can provide appropriate warnings to their area. So there's a lot of collaboration and coordination going on behind the scenes. So what do we do with the Weather Service? So a lot of times I still get questions, what station do you work for? You're a meteorologist, what TV station do you work for? None. That's only one thing a meteorologist can do with their career. I chose very early on when I was in college, I really wanted to be in the Weather Service. So luckily that worked out. But when we're on TV, we're normally doing stories with them. They interview us, you know, in a damage survey, or we've got a winter storm coming up, or something like that. We're not on TV continuously or routinely. It's just for stories involving the weather they decide to bring us in. Otherwise, we're behind the scenes. We work with everybody. We work with all the TV stations, not only in Tulsa, but we work with the Joplin TV stations, folks, the Sherman Denison, Texas, folks, the people over in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We work with all the TV meteorologists and TV coverage for our CWA or our county warning area. We also work with all the emergency managers. That's from the local, county, state, and tribal levels. So any of the emergency managers that work in the counties that we serve, we work closely with them as well. So the media and emergency management community are basically our closest partners. Again, we're behind the scenes, so we're working with them to help, you know, keep the public safe. So what does the Weather Service do? We basically, in short, we compile a massive amount of weather information and provide that in various different ways for everybody to use for free. So that's what we do. That's why we work with everybody. Literally, if you see something weather-related on the internet or on TV, it's probably gone through the Weather Service or originated at the Weather Service one point or another. That's what we do. We work with everybody. So the satellite information that you see on TV, the computer models that you're hearing more and more about, most of those are run by the Weather Service. Observations, climate data. Obviously the watches and warnings and advisories originate from the Weather Service as well. So that's pretty much what we do in a nutshell. So, this is just giving you a little idea about our office in Tulsa. So we got a pretty big area, we get a lot of weather around our area. And as such, our office has traditionally been a little bit bigger than some of the other weather offices around the area. Now, Fort Worth and Norman are also the same size we were anyway. They're bigger than us now because we lost quite a few people. So those numbers you see there, 21 employees now is what we have. 5 of those are electronic technicians. We have a lot of equipment, computers, radars, observation systems. All that stuff needs to be maintained and fixed when it breaks. So we have actually 5 electronic techs that take care of all that stuff for our area. 14 of our staff are meteorologists. So you can see the numbers crossed out. Basically, we went from 27 employees to 21. That was basically from mid-February to June. I don't know if you remember what was going on across the country around that time frame, but we lost 6 employees basically, 4 of which were the meteorologists. And we're basically staffed for this kind of weather, fair weather, blue skies. We're not staffed for tornado outbreaks. We're not staffed for winter storms. When that stuff happens, we start bringing in extra people. We keep people over. They can't go home. They're working 14, 16-hour shifts. We bring the next shift in early. We have extra bodies that are on their days off we bring in. But during a severe weather or a tornado outbreak, we could have as many as 7 of our meteorologists working that event. And then we're doing damage surveys the next day after that, maybe out to a week and a half after the fact. Like this, I'm going to talk about an event here from May of 2024 that impacted your county. Luckily not as bad as the counties to the west, the counties to the east. But I was doing damage surveys after that event for literally a week and a half. So we're trying to keep up with the weather in May, day after day after day, getting beat up by severe weather, and then doing damage surveys, doing briefings and all the stuff that we do. And again, we're 4 meteorologists shorter than what we used to be. And hopefully, we're going to start to replace some of those vacancies soon. We may not ever get those bodies back, unfortunately, so we're going to see where that goes. But the main computer system we use is a Unix-based system. We call it AWIF, but it basically integrates all the various data that we use and allows us to do everything we need to do, including issuing warnings in a very quick fashion. So real quickly, some of the tools that we use. This is a surface observation system. This is essentially an automated surface observation system. Before these things were implemented across the country, we'd have manual observations. A human would actually take an hourly observation and any special observation when criteria are met, depending on what the changes in the weather are, and send those out across the network. Now they're automated, so we get an observation from all these automated stations at least an hour, every single one across the country. These stations here, the ASOS, we maintain those. Those are coordinated and basically maintained by the Weather Service. There's an AWOS, AWOS. There's actually one of those at the Grove Airport. So there's a bunch of surface observation systems across the country. Here in Oklahoma, we're lucky to have the Mesonet. So at least one observation system within the Mesonet per county, and some counties actually have more than one. So it's a very dense network of surface observations that we get from various networks. But the ASOS is maintained by the Weather Service. So these things you get at least hourly precipitation, precipitation amounts, precipitation rates, current visibility, current weather, cloud cover. The top of this tower here, that's where your wind comes from. Everybody thinks, well, the wind measurement's at the ground. The wind is actually measured 10 meters above the ground. So the measurement for the official observation is actually 30 feet off the ground. So when you hear, like I said, Grove Airport is an AWOS, slightly different than this, but current conditions in Grove, the wind is out of the northwest at 30 miles an hour, gusting to 38. That's at 30 feet above the ground. That's not at the ground because there's a lot of friction at the ground. So it's actually a little bit above the ground, but that's the official measurement height that all these observation sites are uniformly measuring. So it's all uniform. And again, we get this stuff hourly. So we get these observations hourly from all these different stations. We can plot this data on a map. And with that, we start analyzing different fields, pressure fields, temperature fields, dew point fields. With that, this goes to the weather maps that you ultimately see. You probably don't see the raw observations, you see the actual weather maps. These are obtained from these observations. So this is where you get the high pressure, the low pressure, where the frontal systems are, where the dry line's located, by analyzing these hourly things. And literally, we've got a person that's dedicated to just that in our office during a severe weather event, because these boundaries, the dry line movement, the outflow boundary from storms that move through in the morning, all that plays a big role in where tornadoes are likely to form later on in the day. So we're analyzing this data hourly and keeping up with the movement of this stuff hourly. So I said we have a very dense network at the ground, but if I can tell you what the temperature in Grove is right now very accurately, I can't tell you what the temperature 5,000 feet off the ground here in Grove is as accurately. We don't measure the atmosphere above the ground as uniformly and as accurately as we do at the ground. Why is there errors in weather forecasting and you guys never get it right? There's tell us it's going to rain and it doesn't rain. Well, it rained probably 15 miles away from you. But the reason that is because we can't analyze the data perfectly right now. And if you can't analyze and observe the data perfectly right now, you can't project that in the future. When you ingest that data into computer models, that inaccuracy and imperfection gets drawn. And by the end of that loop, the temperature's in the upper 30s. So that's a pretty strong cold front moving through. And behind that cold front, you've got a bunch of low clouds, spreading in behind the frontal passage. So the Arctic air is moving in, you can kind of get a feel for the timing of that. So a lot of things are being able to be seen. It's actually snowing behind this. Up here, it's snowing up in this area. It's actually snowing some of this up in Kansas as well. So that gives us a good feel. I got surface observations overlaid on top of the infrared to give us multiple data sets, and you can see that front clearly moving through and try to get a timing of that front, different areas of our forecast area for the short-term forecast. Because if you get a 25 to 30 degree drop in temperature, once that front passes, that's a big impact on people. Here's another example of some of the things we can see on satellite real quick. So this is a visible image. So we can only get this during the day because this is actually kind of acting like a camera acts. Reflected light off different things. So the sun has to be up for us to use this channel. But the clouds are the white. What do you think's going on here? It's not white, so it's not clouds, but it's kind of gray and brown. Pretty hazy. You can see how the terrain kind of loses its detail. So this is the Palo Duro Canyon up here in Texas Panhandle. And the cap rock, what we call the cap rock, usually comes down through here. You'll be able to see that detail very good. You can't see it. Something's obscuring that. And whatever that is kind of jutting out underneath the clouds over here. So it's definitely below the cloud deck. What do you think that is? Anybody ever lived in West Texas? That's dust. That's bad dust. Not only that, but white sands in New Mexico, the wind is so strong that it's pulling the white sand off of the monument there and spreading it to the southeast. You can actually see that being blown quite a distance from the origination source, which is White Sands National Monument, New Mexico there, being blown all the way downstream, several counties away, 2 or 3 counties away, almost into Texas. That's what it looked like visibly at the surface at this time. So here you can see it all obscured, and this is what it looked like. So that's a classic dust storm in West Texas. And if you lived in Arizona or places out west, you may see this on a short-term basis, what they call a haboob. That's usually from thunderstorm outflow that blows through, and you get a big dust plume with that. This stuff here lasts a long time, hours. We're talking hours, and this is across eastern New Mexico, eastern Colorado, western Kansas, West Texas, western Oklahoma. So this is a big, broad area of this kind of stuff. So that's probably about a 1/4 mile visibility there. That water tower there is about a 1/4 mile from where I took this picture. So think about the most dense fog you've experienced, and this is it. Only the sky's brown and it's gritty, and the wind's blowing probably about 60 miles an hour right now. Some of the other things we can see that are very useful, especially for wildland fire management and notifications to the fire folks that are trying to work these things. These dark spots you see on this infrared satellite image are actually fires, active wildland fires. So what we've got going on in Oklahoma now is when we see these fires develop, we can see this on the visible. If it's daytime, you can see, and there's not clouds above this. So if there's actually a high-level cloud deck above the ground, we wouldn't be able to see the ground. So this is all dependent on not having cloud cover that you can actually see to the ground, see these hot spots on the ground. Because obviously the temperature's a lot different in the middle of a wildland fire than it is outside of that fire. So that's what we're seeing here. We're actually seeing the size of the wildfire in some of these, and just how hot they are. So all those things go into account for us to send notifications to the state and local emergency management folks, as well as the fire crews that ultimately that start putting resources to these. So a lot of times we can see these develop on satellite before the 911 calls even made. So that's some of the stuff going on in Oklahoma now. We can issue fire warnings from local officials. You got a wildland fire that's moving toward a community. Maybe they're evacuating people. Ahead of a wildland fire, we can activate the EAS system and issue these evacuation warnings for local officials due to wildfires. But satellite plays a role in that. So I'm running out of time, so I want to kind of go through this a little quicker. So model data. We've seen a lot more discussion about model data on the internet, on TV. So as I said earlier, the Weather Service runs a lot of the models that you see on the internet or on TV. You can find this stuff for free on the internet. A lot of different weather models that we run. Some of the tools we use, radar obviously during severe weather. This is probably our most important tool that we use. Those are the Air Force Thunderbirds flying behind this radar. That was in Midland. It was down there for an air show. But these radars were actually deployed across the country in a network 30 or so years ago, in the early 90s. It's called the WSR-88D. That means it was developed in 1988. It was deployed across the country different times in different places, but by the early 90s. But this has been upgraded multiple times over the years. So it's an old radar, but it's been upgraded, it's been modified. The hardware has been upgraded, the software has been upgraded. We added dual pole technology to our radars a few years ago. That allows us to see different things, better idea what the radar beam is actually hitting. Because purple on the radar doesn't always mean hail, it doesn't always mean certain things. It depends on the temperature profile and other stuff. So to know what the beam is hitting, is it hail? Or in this case, this is an example of the Barnsdall supercell. Hook echo associated with the supercell thunderstorm here. Big ball, high reflectivity ball on the end of the hook. That's coincident with a very strong, tight velocity signature. This is velocity data over here on the right. The red is away, the pink is very strong motion away, green is toward, light blues on this color curve is very strong motion toward. So we have a very tight, very strong couplet associated with that hook echo and that high reflectivity ball. And then this panel here is some dual pole data that tells us that this particular parameter has very low values that's coincident where this hook echo is. Something is not meteorological in that area. It's not hail, it's not rain, it's something else. And the only thing that makes any sense is debris. The beam's actually seeing oblong shaped things, different size things. It's not uniform across the area like rainfall or hail even is. It's something that's not meteorological. So that dual pole upgrade we did about 10 years ago allows us to confirm tornadoes. There's a path of that tornado, 41 mile long, EF4. We had 2 fatalities with this particular tornado, one in a mobile home, one in a permanent home. That was a very bad day. That's looking down the tornado path, so the path, it was coming basically from the room into the screen, is the direction of that path. You can just see the devastation of that. EF4 rated tornado. Here's another example. What we see on radar. This is the same month. This is a very bad month for us, May of 2024. Another supercell. This actually is the same supercell that produced a tornado in Delaware County. Several big tornadoes over in Benton County. Started in Delaware County, actually, just east of Colcord. This tornado here is on the ground. It began west of Claremore, moved through Claremore, now it's east of Claremore. So it's been on the ground all this time. The debris signature is very strong, high reflectivity, the hook echo, very strong reflectivity and velocity signatures. No doubt in the world there's a major tornado going on now. We rated this EF3 ultimately, based on several pockets of EF3 damage within it. We had 2 fatalities with this. All those were in a mobile home. You can see EF3 damage there. Basically EF3 damage is going to be the roof is gone, the second floor is gone. You're going to start to lose some of the exterior walls in a permanent house. That's EF3 damage, essentially. So that's a pretty solid EF3 tornado we had there. Long track. So that was the first of 11 tornadoes that this storm actually produced. As I said, we had 1 in Delaware County, then we had 1 develop in Delaware County from this same supercell that moved into Benton County, west of Decatur. This is the widest tornado in Arkansas history, turns out. Well, this is the signature for that tornado. Here's the reflectivity, purple, in the hook echo. So the main reflectivity core of this storm is up in here, where the main rain and hail core is up in here. So this is an appendage back in the southwest flank, similar to these other images, with a big high reflectivity hook at the tail end of it that's coincident with low values of this particular dual pole product. Well, look at here. We've got something else going on right here, and the velocity data shows us the same thing. So this is from the Inola radar. So the red is away, the green is toward. So there's a circulation there. And there's actually a circulation that goes the other direction right here. So it's actually 2 ongoing tornadoes at the same time. There's one west of Decatur, there's one south of Decatur. The one south of Decatur is spinning the other direction from what they normally spin. Both of them were significant tornadoes. One was an EF3, one was an EF2. There's the tracks of those. So, very significant tornadoes. Like I said, I'm running out of time. I'm sorry about that. So let's wrap this up, I guess, at this point. So we put a lot of information out there prior to events. The first place that we start to mention hazardous weather is going to be our outlook. So this product goes out 7 days. You get this on our weather radio, you get this on our webpage. We get shorter term, nearer an event, watches are issued for environments that support severe weather, then ultimately warnings are issued on a shorter term basis, no more than 60 minutes usually for a smaller area. Have different ways. I want to leave it at this. This is the last slide. I'll put contact information, but have more than one way to receive warnings. I cannot stress that enough. Don't rely on one single way to receive warnings. They fail. Technology, anything on that list will fail at some time or another. I guarantee you. At some time or another, everything on that list on the right side is going to fail and not work the way it's supposed to for one reason or another. So cell phones are great, but during a disaster, during a big tornado event, like some of these images I've shown you, cell towers get taken out, parts of networks get taken out. If they're not taken out, they're overwhelmed with all the traffic that ends up going on. Everybody wants to call everybody. Everybody's streaming, whatever. The network is brought down to its knees and not working the way it should. So have more than one way to receive warnings. So that could be smartphone apps. There's wireless emergency alerts you can get on your phone from the cell phone providers, tornado warnings, high-end severe thunderstorm warnings. Those things will go on your phone. Some simple as a weather radio. How many people have weather radios? You have a weather radio? We actually have a weather radio transmitter in Grove. That's the broadcast area, the light green there. You can program these things for a particular county. I only want to give tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings for that particular county. You can program that radio to only alert for that particular county. Enter the code. There's all the codes for the surrounding counties within that listening area. These things are $30 or so. You can program them, put a battery in them. They sit there silently until we issue a tornado warning. If that's at 2 o'clock in the morning when you've lost power and your cell phone's not working, that may be the only way you get a warning and notified something bad's coming. Weather.gov/Tulsa is our webpage. There's wireless emergency alerts here. You're only going to get tornado warnings, high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, basically baseball, hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds, and high-end flash flood warnings. Those are what you'll get from wireless emergency alerts on your phone. Amber alerts, same service. That sends Amber alerts, sends these. We're a little bit late. Anybody have any quick questions? I'll be around a little while afterwards. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I don't need a mic. So basically what you said is your network of information that you build up is used by, let's say, Travis Meyer. It's used by the internet. And so you are supplying the raw data for all of these sources of information that we use for the weather. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. That doesn't mean that Travis Meyer is going to go verbatim with what our forecast is, but he's got our discussion of why, the reasoning behind our forecast, and he has access to all the data, the model data, the observational data, the satellite data, to incorporate into his forecast, and the people behind the scenes that are doing his forecast when he's out talking to school kids till right up until he goes on the air. So those guys have a little bit different job than we do, but yeah, we're sending that out there for free to everybody to use. So.
Is Tornado Alley actually moving east? We hear
I don't think I have enough time to answer that question. There's some data that indicates that it's moving more east, but that doesn't mean it's not happening back where it normally happens. I can assure you that data for my area And data for Oklahoma as a whole is not showing any reduction in tornadoes, that it's shifted away from here. So the fact that it may be occurring more often east does not mean it's happening less here. Matter of fact, probably out of the last decade, we've probably been above average number of tornadoes in this area, probably 9 out of 10 years, including last year when we had 58 tornadoes in our area. So there's some indication it's moving east, but that doesn't mean it's happening less here.
One last question. Is AI helping you guys through modeling or forecasting, or for staff reviews? AI?
AI, we're starting to work with some of that, yeah. Modeling is using AI, using AI techniques to improve modeling and that kind of thing. So yeah, we're definitely taking advantage of some of that. And that's just going to improve over the years.
You said that tornadoes can go different directions. That might go different directions.
What's that? I didn't get the last part.
Well, water going down the right place, the tornado is going to turn the same way.
Well, if you were in the southern hemisphere, it wouldn't turn the same way. If you've ever been to Australia, it actually goes the other way. So, and actually, tornadoes and cyclones and hurricanes in the southern hemisphere, they tend to rotate this way. But you'll have the odd one that actually rotates the way ours do. So, it depends on where you are on the planet and what different things happen. But northern hemisphere, we're normally getting counterclockwise rotation in our hurricanes and our tornadoes, but we do see time to time tornadoes that actually rotate the other direction. And we see supercells actually that rotate the other direction too. We call them left movers, and if you got a left moving supercell moving toward you, you probably have a very high chance of getting some big hail. That's one thing that those things tend to produce. You're almost guaranteed big hail with this left moving supercell. But it's rotating the other direction. So visually you can see the rotation in it. It's opposite of what you normally see in a supercell.
So the loss of manpower is because of federal budget cuts? I don't really know.
Yeah,
And like where I came from in Texas, the rumors were in Palestine, they were going to close the balloon base because of budget. I mean, it isn't your people left voluntarily.
I think only one of those people that left our office was actually retirement age, so the rest of them just voluntarily said bye. But yeah, there was, okay, listen, it was all about, in February, they started to have a big push on cutting down government services and government employees and trying to reduce expenditure. So essentially, yeah, it's budget. Very quickly they realized that our agency was probably not one of the ones that needed to be cut. So now we're in a situation where we probably need some of these bodies back. They recognize the fact we need some of these bodies back. We didn't need to take these cuts with an axe, we needed a scalpel. And unfortunately we lost people. At our office was probably not as bad as some of the other offices. Some of the other offices, we actually are TDYing employees from other offices to help them because they lost so many employees. So that's something we're dealing with as an agency. Hopefully that's going to fix itself. But what that means is basically those of us that are still here are working a lot more hours, a lot more shifts than we should be, and that we used to work. And again, we get day-to-day, back-to-back-to-back tornado outbreaks here all the time. And your staff just gets pummeled, and you can't take vacation time, because we don't have the employees to cover the shifts that we need to cover. So, but we haven't cut any services. Some offices across the country have actually cut services. We're not doing this anymore. We're not doing it anymore. We haven't quite got to that point because we're just trying to suck it up and do what we need to do. But at some point, if we don't get some bodies, it's going to be, we're going to have to do something. So, but yeah, essentially it's budget cuts.
Two quick questions. Describe the difference between, say, the Tulsa Center and the one that's in Norman. But also, do you see data that supports the fact that climate change is making storms more dramatic, more erratic, higher end, and more often?
Like that other question, I probably don't have enough time to address that latter thing. Climate change isn't doing all that, I don't believe, no. It's doing some things. It's one thing that it's definitely doing is it's increasing rainfall rates. So when we get heavy rain events, we're getting a lot more rain from that heavy rain event than what we typically have seen. So there's a lot of data that supports that. Some of this other stuff, does climate change increase the number of hurricanes or not? Because we see it less, and people argue that it's less hurricanes, more hurricanes. It can't do both, obviously. So is it changing the environment? Is it changing weather patterns? It definitely is increasing rainfall rates. When we get rain events, we tend to have excessive rain events more frequently. So that's definitely due to climate change. I'm not sure about some of the A equals B stuff that also is being associated with climate change. To answer your other question, you said Norman. If you said Springfield, I would say there's not a lot of difference between the Springfield office and our office. They typically have fewer employees. They have the same area as we. We have different counties that they issue warnings for. Now Norman, there's a forecast office in Norman like our office, does the same thing we do. Forecast for a certain set of counties, basically western 2/3 Oklahoma, northwest Texas. Issue warnings, advisories, watches, all that kind of stuff, routine forecasts. There's also the Storm Prediction Center in Norman. There's also the National Severe Storms Lab in Norman. There's also OU Meteorology in Norman. So there's a lot of things going on in Norman, but there is an office that's like ours that serves counties and issue warnings. The rest of those guys in that building, the Storm Prediction Center doesn't issue warnings, they issue watches. So the warnings are still coming from the forecast office, similar to ours, located in Norman. So, and the Springfield office, just northeast of you guys, are doing the same thing that our office does. They're just doing it for a different set of counties. Appreciate y'all.
Ed's going to stay around. Very informative. Again, I apologize for cutting it short.
Oh, that's fine.
You know, we are human, so thank you.
Yep, glad to be here.
Grace and
Thank
mercy.
you. You have to come back some other time and talk only about tornadoes if you want. Next year or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. So, thank you everyone, thank our guests. We have a board meeting at 1:15 in the parlor. And again, thank you so much, and thanks to Kim for her gracious pick up the blue chairs, put out 7 metal, leave all the tables, and thank you for standing for the